tell you some ways that we saved on our cruise when we went on Harmony of the Seas. This is my third cruise. I'm not an expert, but I just have learned so much as I've come along, and I hope I can help you. One thing that my husband and I did is we did get the Royal Caribbean credit card, which did knock some money off of the cruise. We make sure we pay it off before we get the first bill, of course, because of interest, but we did save some good amount of money on our cruise. Also, for Black Friday, that's when I found the best deals on Excursions. I purchased all my Excursions at that time. Also on internet and Wi-Fi, you might find that even after Black Friday, there's some great sales. So always check your emails when you get that from Royal Caribbean. Another way that you might save money is we spent over, I think 14 or something like that on these they're really cute, Royal Caribbean lanterns, and you might want to, but you could always buy one of these at the dollar store or at Walmart. It's really nice and handy. It keeps your card from getting wet. So it is a great deal. Another thing I noticed was the price of airline tickets. We try to maximize our vacation. I have been on 3 cruises, 3 different ports, because I want to investigate and see as much of the United States as I can. So we got Expedia, and maybe 5 or 6 months before my cruise, I put in the price check. I put in the dates that I needed it, and they would send me alerts from when it was up or when it was down. And I got a really good, I think it's about $300 per ticket, and it was direct flights to I think it's IHA or IAH. So try it. I went to the direct airlines and looked, and it was a lot more expensive. Not that I know everything, but we saved quite a bit of money. Now, another thing that I noticed is getting from the airport to our hotel and to the port, a lot of the charters and stuff were like, the cheapest I found was $30 a person, but most of them were like in the 60s. So I've never used an Uber before, and being from a small town, and I'm like, oh, I'm so afraid. What if the driver's a weirdo? That kind of thing. I was really pleasantly surprised at how easy it was to use the app. And I scheduled it way before because I like to make sure I have all my ducks in a row. So it was about 67, I think, $67, and I left a tip. It was also kind of cool because the guy was from Poland, and he taught us a lot about some histories, because it is like an hour and 15 or something like that ride from the airport. Now, on the way back, I saw a lot of questions. Everyone's like, what should I do? I want to get to my airport on time. We, on our last day on Harmony of the Seas, we did self-assist. So we had our luggage ready. And at 7:30, we went to the 5th floor, and we put our luggage, we lined it up. There was maybe 30 or 40 people. And so we just left our luggage there. We could see it in the promenade, and we went and got a coffee. And as soon as we noticed a little about 7:40, they started lining up. We just walked right over to our luggage. And when I set up the Uber, I told them 8 o'clock, because I think our flight was leaving at about 11, and I just wanted to make sure with that long drive. He said on the app, be at the pink canopy, which is around the corner, and they were right there. Had a truck, it was covered, my luggage was covered, and this guy was really chill too. He actually had his own internet for his car. He had a YouTube video about the story of the egg and relaxing music, and so, I mean, it was just a really chill ride, and there was traffic, and he went around, and it was just perfect timing. So don't be afraid to use that. You're going to save so much more money, because really the total price is almost the price of 1.5 person getting to the port. And we had so much time. It was just great. So there's a lot of ways you can save money. Now, the drink package. My husband likes to drink. I have like 1 or 2 drinks here and there. We looked at it. But the problem is that everyone in the room has to have it. I understand why, because they don't want anybody taking advantage of the drink package and sharing. But when we looked at it, if you get the drink of the day, maybe $12. My husband spent maybe, at the most, I'd say 30 something a day. And so it's so much more cheaper doing that. And everybody that's of age can bring wine, 1 bottle of wine. So we had 4 people, we had 4 bottles of wine. Now, we didn't want to buy the wine before because obviously our luggage, we're going to have to pay for it, right? So the hotel that we stayed at was awesome. There was like a rainforest cafe, there was a Kroger and Walmart. So we just walked from there and got our wine. It was just like less than a block. And we took it to the port and we got on right away. So there's a lot of things that you can do to make everything so simple. And remember, don't forget your water, because you're going to pay a lot of money for water when you're off the boat and on your excursions. Get the water, and you can have some snacks and stuff too. And maybe some of those powdered drink things. So just remember that, because I'd rather spend my money on the fun stuff, like the touristy stuff or things like that. So there's a lot of ways that you can save money. Another piece of advice that I would say is, as soon as I find out that the app is going to be open and you can pick your check-in time, I stay up to 12. I get an early check-in time. I love that we get there at 11 o'clock. You walk in, you will never see the pool that empty. And you basically just have it pretty much to yourself. It's awesome. So right when we get on, where we go right to our muster, we get it done. I had added someone to the cruise, and I couldn't on the site like a week before get any excursions for this added person, and I was so nervous. But when I got on the ship, I went right to the excursions, did it right away, and we were able to do it. I also do the My Time fine dining right away. I would really suggest that you do it on the days that are sea days, because when you go from your excursion, it's going to be all different hours of the day, and you really can't plan exactly what time dinner is going to be. But My Time dining, we did it twice, and I really enjoy it because it slows you down. You're not like a buffet rushing to eat. I think we spent more quality time eating together, and I enjoyed it. Because you have to wait for your appetizers, and then you wait for your dinner. And I just felt like we had more time with each other and more like conversation than we did when we were on the Windjammer. I love the Windjammer. The people there are so fun, and I'll show you a video of that later. So get on there as early as you can. Schedule everything, get it done. But also bring your bathing suit and your backpack. Relax. It's going to be nice, and you're going to be waiting for your suitcase anyway, so you might as well just go and enjoy all those things when there's not as many people on there. Another thing is the Harmony. What I didn't realize, the Harmony is so big. We've been on the Chapman of the Sea, and the Symphony is like kind of like a sister ship. But I noticed like 2 or 3 weeks before, as I was scheduling stuff, that things were like booked up, like the main shows like Reese, and the ice skating shows and things like that. Like we never got into the comedy show. It was always booked. So make sure that you, a couple weeks before, schedule those shows. You look underneath entertainment on the app, see what the main shows are. And then I picked one a day. Some I had to see at 9:15. I think we saw Greece at 10:15 or something like that. It was really good. But another thing, if you want a really good seat, I would suggest 20 or 25 minutes. Get there early. You don't have to wait in line, and you can choose your seats. We really enjoyed being up front and getting a nice view in the middle, and we were able to get into those shows. There was the diving show that we actually went early and there was no seats. So I'm just like 10 minutes early. So I would say 20 to 25 minutes early. Make sure that you get it. So those are some of the things, tips that I would give you before the cruise. So now I'm going to show you like the hotel that we stayed at and maximize your vacation because Galveston's really cool. So I'm really glad we spent 2 days there before our cruise. And then like say if there was flight problems, we'd be okay. We'd have time to figure it out. But Galveston is so historical and people were so friendly. They have interesting sea art. They have recycled all different kinds of materials. So cool. Sculptures. There was like a shark and it was made out of so many different things that you can't even imagine, and you're looking at it like, oh my gosh. And they have fudge, and they of course you have your t-shirts and your shells and your ocean stuff and drinks and candy. But the people were so nice, and there was even some cute dogs. I had never living in a small town and never saw a dog that was like painted its fur with stripes, so I'll add that picture too. But they also have these historical trolleys, and we stay by the Seawall Holiday Inn, and they cost $1. And they are all so nice, and they talk to you, ask if you want them to take a picture. They're just so sweet, and it was so easy to navigate. And right across from the hotel, there was the ocean, and they had a pool. They were building balloon animals outside. They had a DJ by the pool. They had a restaurant. They had a breakfast buffet. They had a kid area where the kids could go and play watching movies, and they made s'mores that day. Washer and dryer for you to wash your stuff in a little store. And the people were really nice. Like the first day we came in, they were so busy. And the second day, they knew my husband's name. So they get the idea of customer service. I was really impressed by them. And the next day, they're like, Brian, what do you need? So I just really felt it was a great deal. And they had a shuttle for a fee to take you to the port too. And if not, you can probably play for an Uber, I always say it wrong, and at a cheaper price. So those are some of my tips. I'll show you a couple other different things after. For Roatan, we decided to go with the Royal Caribbean excursion. I feel like I hear about different, more inexpensive tours, which I'm sure there is, but for me, it's just peace of mind. I feel like more safe going on a Royal Caribbean excursion. Um, Another tip I would think is very helpful is to go to the earliest tour. Our tour started at 8:45. We were able to do a bunch of things, come back, enjoy the port, go back, eat, take a nap, and then do the night activities. And plus, you don't have everybody getting off the ship at the same time, which can be quite overwhelming. So we started off with our tour. We went to the Roatan Chocolate Factory. They have the best chocolate. And you know, when you take a bite, it's like the real thing. So they had island almonds, sea salt, coconut, chili pepper, dark chocolate. I bought 5 bars for 25. I mean, they were so thick, it was almost hard to bite into at first, but it is so good. And I bought 5 bars for 20, and they made great treats for like my mother-in-law and my mom and my brother. So it's just really good. I'll probably get and start ordering them online, unfortunately, because it's so good. From there, we did our best part, my most favorite thing, and that was I got to hold a sloth, as you saw in the video. They are so lovable. And the monkeys, which was great, and some colorful birds. The one thing I noticed that in the van we were in, there was a tip jar. There was also the tour guide that showed us around the sloth park. They had a tip jar. So even though you paid for the excursion, if you have some ones on you, um, you can feel free, you can easily tip $1 or two for them. And from there, we went to a glass bottom boat, and I was able to see the coral reef, which I have never have seen. It was beautiful, like so beautiful. But the tour was also cool because you learned a lot of social lessons about the good and bad of tourism. Um, Also, like learning about taking care of the coral reef. So I think there was a lot of lessons with this tour. And then when we got back, they had a pool that if you sit down at the port and have a drink, you can go swimming and relaxing in a couple of shops. So that's how we used our excursion. I really enjoyed this excursion because it had so much to it, but still enough time to come back and relax. I'm going to combine Costa Maya and Cozumel. I did a lot of researching people's opinions about the ports. And for Costa Maya, we did a beach excursion, which included our drinks and the beach. It was nice. Like my husband got a wonderful massage for $20 for half an hour. You had a lot of people coming up to you trying to sell you things. It was really nice. But when we got to the port and got off, I couldn't believe how much there was to do. They had flamingos, they had dancing, they had music, so many shops. So you don't have to really spend your money, I think, on an excursion. You could really just enjoy the port there. Um, we did like the beach and things. So you could do that excursion that we had. We had the beach break. It was nice if you want it all inclusive. It did include food, but the one thing I noticed is that Costa Maya shopping is more expensive than Cozumel. So I think it's more important, I would think, to have for Cozumel an excursion because when we got there, I heard that you could just stay at the port and really there was a lot of shops, but then you get so overwhelmed if you don't have a plan because they have so many beaches and you have to have transportation to get there. We went to a beach. It ended up being $80 total, I think per person or something. And it wasn't that nice. Um, the water was kind of cloudy, and I saw some other people that went on excursions that the water was beautiful. They're showing pictures of sea turtles and even an octopus. So I mean, I really feel like we messed up with um, Cozumel by not having a plan. I think if I could go back, I would reverse it and I would stay at the port in Costa Maya, but in Cozumel have a plan. The one thing I want to say though is, like, for me, Cozumel was so much cheaper than Costa Maya's stuff. Like, for example, these are $1 a piece. Great things for me to give to my students. Their shirts were 4 for 20. So if you want to buy stuff for your family to take home, the Cozumel shops I found were much more reasonable. Um, so that would be my advice. They're both beautiful, but I could tell at Cozumel so many people were overwhelmed because they did not have a plan. They have a lot of all-inclusive beaches that I heard Paradise, I think it's called, was really nice, but have a plan. Don't waste your time in Cozumel. Costa Maya, you really don't have to have a plan. Everything is there. I just couldn't believe, like, it was a happening place. Okay, so I want my final part. I want to go over some things real quick because I don't want to keep you. I know this is my first video and it's not very good. Um, Sorry. But one thing is, I was looking at the Harmony of the Seas for my date, and a lady suggested this Downy Wrinkle Releaser fabric spray. And since you can't bring an iron, no matter how I fold, I always have wrinkles, and I use this, and it was wonderful. Like, took the wrinkles right out. So this is something that, after reading that recommendation, I love this. Um, that would be another recommendation. Another thing is, we really liked on the ship the All Star Karaoke. That's where they, for 2 nights, they pick, I think it's like six people total, and then they compete against each other. We loved it. It was like having a concert. That's fun. Now, if you like the silent headphone activity, which people seem to really like, you need to get there a half an hour early. We were never able to get in because it took too long for them to pass it out, and then you had to wait for people to leave. So if you want to do that activity, I heard it was really fun. Get there a half an hour early. So, and my last thing I want to tell you is you should get where they deliver your breakfast in the morning. It is free if it's continental. One thing my husband and I like to have is we like to have our coffee. And before we even get moving, and they will deliver it free of charge. They have continental breakfast. You can get yogurt, you can get fresh fruit, toast, bagels. I'm trying to remember some of the other things, but it was just so nice to have it delivered. And if you need caffeine like me, you feel less rushed. So and it's free. Let me say it again. It is free. If you get like American breakfast with bacon in that, you'll get charged. But again, you can get your juice, you can get your coffee, and have it all set. That really made a difference. We didn't feel as rushed to go to the Windjammer. Also, the Windjammer staff, sorry, I said stuff. They are amazing. They sing and they dance and they clap, and I was just really impressed with the hospitality. So that would be it. I hope you have a good time on your cruise. I hope I could give you some good advice. And last but not least, I forgot to add this. I really enjoyed decorating my cruise door. And when my son got lost, we were able to leave a message on there. That is fun. The ducks. I love passing out the ducks for the little kids. Central Park is a wonderful area. It has lots of plants that you can hide them in, and to watch the kids and the teens, even the adults looking for them, it is just so fun. I also did kindness rocks, you're beautiful, and things like that. So just have fun. We did. Have fun. Have a good cruise.